Welcome to the greenhouse this morning. We've got a beautiful morning, about 9 o'clock. Now this morning we're going to be revealing and reviewing a couple of items that we purchased for our DIY heating and compost heating, solar powered, passive, lots of heating experiments coming this winter. Now if that sounds interesting, please consider subscribing. We're gonna walk through the greenhouse and then we'll go check out the new items that we have ordered. So I just like to start by coming in and checking everything out. We've sold quite a few fig trees. We're always propagating more, but it seems like the fig trees have sold out this year. We've only got a few left of our large fig trees. Lots and lots of things going on in the greenhouse. The aquaponics, the guppies in there. I was just trying to block as much sunlight so we don't get much algae growth. Everything's looking amazing inside the greenhouse, and we had just pulled up some of our tarping here. We lay tarping and we let the bed rest. Now we've already got crops, and these are not crops that I have planted. These came from seeds from either our turnips or some of our kale or something is what they look like. Some tomatoes, some wild weeds and stuff. So just a mere week after pulling that up, we're just coming through and kind of breaking it up by hand here. And all of this had so many seeds in it that they're just popping back. And I'm allowing this purslane to continue growing. Got my tomato tied up. That was just a volunteer tomato. We had done a bunch of mustard greens and some of these 7-top turnips and stuff in this little bed here. Some wild onions popping up. That is awesome, from our saved onion seeds over on this side of the greenhouse. So we had been saving the seeds up here in the bin. Threw some over and they started to pop. Now these are actually wild leeks. I apologize, they're not onions, they're leeks. So after they are done flowering, this whole stalk is going to pop up and you have a brand new leek shooting up that we're going to be able to harvest from this winter right in the greenhouse, cooking on the stove. All of our fish here, give them a feed this morning. The sun was out here cleaning this whole thing out yesterday. We're going to fill up the water before winter so we can figure out how we're going to keep this warm enough and heat this inside our greenhouse for the winter time. So one of the main factors of this pond has been the biofilter. So I don't know what I'll do this winter because this biofilter is not going to stay. We've got basil, we've got elderberry, we've got another elderberry, we've got a tomato in here, hostas that went to full seed, we've got some red vein sorrel. Just clear up the drain hole here. We've got a small fig tree just catching some water and nutrients. This biofilter has just exploded with life. So coming on down, I was able to get this tank open. So hopefully the item I bought for this tank is going to fit in here. If not, I may have to do some modifying, but this is going to be a heater. I may end up painting this tank black, as we could have two potential ways to heat this tank at the same time. Now on a day like today in the winter time, when it's full sun, we are going to passively soak up a lot more with a darker color. We've shown that it's 10 to 15, possibly even 20 degrees between light and dark that you could add as far as heating in the winter time. So we're going to actively and passively use this system along with solar power and a few other items. So stay tuned for the building of this thermal mass heater right here with the cheapest possible method that we can. So let's continue on into the greenhouse. So moving on from our tank, we're going to be experimenting with this wood chipper that we had purchased like a year ago and we still haven't used it. So we'll be doing some compost heating with that. This lavender bush just went absolutely crazy in the greenhouse. I have not seen it this big or full of bloom, so we'll be saving a bunch of seeds and possibly saving some lavender. I need to clean up all of our aluminum foundry experimenting. We've got all the stuff over in this corner. Now this is going to be a heating system in itself. And we had our little passive solar heater, or solar powered passive heater I should say, passively pulling heat off of the sun. And we showed that experiment last year. I'm going to be building upon this idea this year also. We've got ourselves this nice heat exchanger. We haven't actually hooked up yet, so that is going to be something I want to mess with this winter. Got ourselves some 8-foot ducting inside here. So what we had ordered is a nice sea flow. Now this is technically an inline pump because inside, I don't know if you can see inside there, but there's another nozzle that looks just like the tip top one. So we're gonna pull this out of the case here. We're gonna test this one out before too long. Let's see what else we got in here. Nice. So we've got this fan here. Now this is a nice inline fan. This is for like a marine application, able to withstand moist conditions, cold, hot. And you can see this is a little burnt up here because this was for our blower on our furnace or our foundry. So I wanted to get myself another one that was basically the same thing. I think this was about 30 bucks or something like that. And with the quality that I received on this one, that is not too bad of a price. So we've got a 12 volt DC, 130 cubic feet per minute, 2.5 amps, 5 amp fuse, and all of your wires and stuff. So this is going to be paired with this. We're going to be doing some experimenting with that. Kind of all just teasers today because I'm not going to do anything with that today. But we will be hooking this up in the future here real shortly. Just want to make it through all of this stuff we grabbed. Alright, so we're going to check this out. So we got ourselves this Coleman camping stove. If I can figure out how to open it, we're going to check it out here. So in the box, it comes with your grating and some instructions. Alright, so this is the stove here. Super flat, nice and packable. And it just folds together. That's pretty darn nifty right there. So it just folds together. It turns into a nice little box. I mean, I can fit some stuff in here. I read the reviews. They said the thermometer doesn't work the best, so I can hook myself up a extended thermometer there. But this is going to be for a later video. My son and I will be cooking some things and doing some experiments along the way in the greenhouse once the cold weather sets in. So let's check this pump out first of all. First one we've opened here. Alright, so very cool. It came with a check valve. So this little check valve is going to stop the water from backing down, and it can only flow one way through this check valve. It's a great way of keeping a pump primed. So for the price of about $35 to $43, you could find a pump just like this one, and it's a nice submersible unit. Got a nice long cord to hook up to a battery or your power source, and it came with a nice little check valve. Did not come with any tubing for that price. So let's talk about a few specs of this pump before we go test it out real quick. They said it was 280 gallons per hour, or about 4.6 repeating gallons per minute. So about 4 gallons a minute. That's a decent flow rate for our heating aspect of what we're going to be experimenting with. And the lift or overhead is 23 feet, so it's got a decent lift to it. It's a decently strong pump. It can pump up to 23 feet high before it loses any ability. So this thing's said to draw about 4 amps. We're going to take 4 times the 12 volts. So amps times volts is going to give us wattage, and that's going to be about 48, and the max volts is 7.5. So we're going to be sitting around 90 watts of usage if it's drawing its max 7.5 amps, but that's what it's rated for. That's what the fuse is, so we shouldn't have to worry about that. It should be about 50 watts of draw to operate this pump. So we're just over here stealing our power source from our actual pond pump here. Alright, we got good flow there. This thing's going to be perfect for heating this winter, and I cannot even hear it operating. Even with the water in the water and it's just circulating, I don't hear the pump operating. I hear a plane flying by, but I don't hear the pump operating. So it's going to be in a metal tank. That metal tank over there, we're going to be doing some experimenting with that. I'm glad it's not too loud like some of the inline pumps. I was concerned with the ones that run dry that do not have submersible capabilities. Those ones are the loudest pumps ever, so I like to use the submersible pumps for that reason. I really like these submersible pumps because they are a lot quieter than the inline, and they are cooled by the water itself. It doesn't heat up really, so any heat is drawn into the water as opposed to possibly overheating your pump or something like that. So let's check out this inline fan now. Like I was saying, I have ordered one before, basically the same thing. I just got a different sticker on the outside. The other one's green, so I see no difference in the actual material. It's the same one that I ordered before. Like I said, it's just a little bit different color. So we've got multiple types of fans. We've got this little centrifugal fan that we had hooked up and made a system for. So this 3-inch diameter cost me about $25 to $26, and they range from $20, $30, $40 for a decent one, inline, marine grade, cold, heat proof. So it's going to be more durable and more resistant in a greenhouse application, especially if I'm moving heat through this fan. So I'm going to be using this for some type of heat sink, possibly pulling heat from the stove. Couple ideas going forward, and I also want to use one of these for our compost heating, so we may have to order another one of these little fans at $25. It is definitely well worth it. All those little 12-volt waterproof square flat fans that we use religiously all around the greenhouse, they draw a little bit less than this bigger, bulkier motor is going to, but this really doesn't draw that much. We are sitting at 2.5 amps times 12 volts is going to give us about 30 watts of use per hour. So 30 watts of use. We've got a 100-watt solar panel. You can add more to the system that this is going to be on. So let's actually check this out real quick. I want to go hook this up to the same system where we just ran our pump and make sure that this thing actually works. I've ordered things that don't work before, so might as well test it all out right now. I'm glad to see that our pump worked as well as it did, because I have ordered pumps that don't work also. So I like to see everything and test it, make sure it operates the way it's supposed to. So we stole our power from our aquaponics pump over here. I'm going to hook this up, and we're going to hook this up. So this little fan is awesome. It works just like the other one. We just have a PVC tube and a downsizer attached to it to get a longer distance and get a more particular point on the airflow so we can get it into our fire and stuff like that. As you saw, that one was burnt up. This one's going to stay inside the greenhouse. He's going to get hooked up underneath my desk or bench right here, and we're going to run some ducting to it. We're going to make a heating system from this fan, and we're going to be able to spread it throughout the whole greenhouse hopefully, or possibly store it in some way, shape, or form. So lots of cool experiments coming. I'm glad to see everything we ordered operates like it's supposed to. We're going to be getting a few more bits and bobs before the actual compost heating season comes in a month or two. We'll be building a huge pile. We've still got compost out back. We can go check that out actually. It was chilly when we started out here about 6 this morning. It's about 9:30, going on 10 now, 67 degrees. It was 51. I made the mistake of leaving this little thermometer in the front window of the greenhouse. It got up to 119 degrees. So our compost is sitting right around 90 degrees right there, our wood chip pile. Been adding a whole bunch of grass and miscellaneous stuff to it, but for the most part we've halved it. The whole other side is chewed out, and we've been hauling it away in wagons and wheelbarrows and stuff, so we've probably still got 3 or 4 tons of compost hilled up on this side to disperse. We've got the teeth of the forest, mushrooms, a whole bunch of fungi helping us break it down at the same time. We were on vacation and we had to come back and just level everything. We've had grass and weeds taking over our entire area out back here. My son had his fire going this morning. We were going to make up some more bricks and possibly some food here. last but not least, let's check out some figs. We've got some Chicago Hardy figs, basically a fig on the top of every one of these branches here, even this one over here. Here comes that airplane coming back. This was just kind of an update. We're going to be really jumping into the heating aspects and cleaning up this greenhouse, rearranging, getting our tunnels in, getting planted and stuff. So we've got a lot of interesting stuff coming, cool stuff coming this winter. And if you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear your guys' ideas as I can incorporate that before I get too far along with my projects here. So before this video gets way too long here, I'd like to thank you guys for being subscribed. Thank you for commenting and sharing ideas. It's very interesting to hear everybody else's input on it. So thank you guys again. I've got work to do, and I will see you guys next time.